We all know the Gracie Hunter, a catch wrestler and pro wrestler who defeated 4 members of the Gracie family in mixed martial arts. But do you know the Gracie Killer?
Dele do primo.
É por isso que você é chamado Grace Killer, como que é?
Grace Killer.
Grace Killer.
A Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt who beat 3 Gracies in Jiu Jitsu competition and won in an alleged street fight, and who was trained by no other than another Gracie. In this edition of Grappling Legends, Wallid Ismail, the Gracie Killer. Born on February 23, 1968, Wallid Ismail started jiu-jitsu at an early age in his home state of Amazônia, Brazil.
Meu primeiro treinador chama Almeida, que é do Amazonas mesmo. E pô, eu queria ir pro Rio, né, brother? Eu queria melhorar meu jiu-jitsu, que na época o Amazonas era meio limitado. E na hora de escolher a academia, pô, fui logo pra melhor academia, porra, do mundo de jiu-jitsu pra mim, que se chama Carlson Gracie. E tô com ele até hoje, entendeu?
Carlson Gracie, who served as his coach and mentor throughout his life, is responsible for building, from the ground up, one of the most successful fight teams in history. Most of his black belts went on to become leaders of famed MMA and jiu-jitsu academies. Carlson had a very unique approach. As a technician, many things set him apart. For instance, he recognized the value of incorporating wrestling as he started his own son, Carlson Jr., in wrestling at an early age, who became a 6-time national Greco-Roman champion. The team had also a strong judo influence, great conditioning, and an aggressive style, which made them well-rounded, successful in both sport jiu-jitsu and fighting. As a mentor, Carlson Gracie was known for treating his students like sons, giving them the shirt off his own back if they needed it, and practically raising some of them. He opposed some of the family's views, like teaching preferably people of high socioeconomic status, and giving limited knowledge to those outside the family.
Carlson started teaching all the common people, rich, poor, black, white, no distinction for Carlson Gracie.
This and his competitive nature were some of the things that fueled rivalries between the camps in that era. At the time, Wallid was not the biggest or even the most talented, but he was certainly tough as nails, possessed unbreakable discipline and the will to improve.
Vai demorar pouco a aprender, mas eu tô gostando de você, que você é cara muito perseverante, muito sincero, tem uma raça de cão pelado, nunca vi cara com uma raça como você. Então eu vou insistir em você, que eu sei que você vai melhorar. Você vai demorar pouquinho a aprender, mas você vai ser campeão.
His efforts paid off as he started gaining great success and momentum in both Vale Judo and Jiu Jitsu competitions. The first time he faced a Gracie was in the early 90s when he defeated fellow brown belt Ralph Gracie in a Jiu Jitsu tournament at the Rio Sports Center. Ralph is the son of Robson Gracie, who is the second son of Carlos Gracie, founder of Gracie Jiu Jitsu. Carlson Gracie was Carlos' first son. Shortly after, in 1993, Ralph's brother, Renzo Gracie, agreed to face him in a 1-hour limit jiu-jitsu match. Here is an article about the upcoming match in the Sports Journal with a transcript of a back and forth between the two. The match took place on August 5, 1993, at the gym of the Flamingo team in Rio de Janeiro. Wallid ended up dominating Renzo, scoring several passes and beating him on points. One year later, the verbal exchanges between Ismail and the Gracies escalated. Royce Gracie, who was fresh off winning the UFC 2 tournament, agreed to face him in a jiu-jitsu match that, according to the Sports Journal, was scheduled for September 30th, 1994 in LA and would have a $100,000 purse for the winner, the biggest ever for a Brazilian jiu-jitsu competitor. Royce Gracie dropped out from the event only 1 week away, as the Sports Journal reported on September 22nd, 1994. An indignant Wallid commented, "This is the biggest scandal in the history of jiu-jitsu. I guess he didn't know that Helio, Carlos, and George Gracie lynched catch wrestler Rufino dos Santos 3-1 with a metal weapon, ending his sports career." Anyway, moving on. Royce Gracie, son of Grandmaster Helio Gracie, runs from the fight inexplicably. The fight was already scheduled. How will he explain this to his fans? This was an act of cowardice. The tears of defeat are better than the shame of not showing up. Wallid continued challenging members of the Gracie family for years. Finally, in 1998, Royce accepted once again, with the condition of special rules that included no points and no time limit. The highly anticipated match took place on December 17, 1998, at the Olympic Arena of Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro. The electrifying ambience was that of a soccer game. Unlimited time was not necessary, as Wallid made quick work of Royce Gracie, putting him to sleep in under 5 minutes via clock choke.
Pra frente, só que estava muito justa a posição. Ih, vai dormir, dormiu, cara, que loucura. Aí o Ismail tá balançando, ih, invasão de ringue pra acordar o rapaz.
Você sentiu ele amolecendo ali?
Não, tô vendo agora, por isso que eu tô tão empolgado, primeira vez, não acreditei aí. A luta que eu esperava que ia ser 1, 2, 3 horas em 5 minutos. Meus companheiros de treino, tenho que agradecer.
According to an article by Eastern Europe BJJ, Wallid had an altercation with the late Ryan Gracie, brother of Henzo and Ralph, at a party where Wallid choked him unconscious via guillotine choke. After the incident, Ryan agreed to fight Wallid in 2000 at a WEC event, but Gracie ended up dropping out. He agreed to a later date, but Gracie had to drop out again after being arrested for stabbing a man in a bar fight. Most people consider Rickson Gracie the best of the family. Some even claim he was invincible despite having turned down several high-profile challengers throughout his career. So it's no surprise Wallid challenged him on numerous occasions. Wallid offered to accept any kind of fight and rules the Gracies would propose. The challenges were dismissed by Rickson, who claimed Wallid was not on his level, even though some of the men Rickson fought to amass his 11-0 record in MMA were relatively unknown. It's important to clarify these challenges took place in a decade when Rickson Gracie was an active fighter, when he even publicly challenged Mike Tyson.
You see, have a lot of guys talk a lot of no bullshit, like this guy Rickson Gracie. Rickson, stay inside the home, not to go show up, you know what I mean? Understand? This one guy, you ask me, who guy you wanna fight? This guy a good fight, because imagine, I beat 4 Gracies. I beat Ryan Gracie, his cousin. I beat Ralph Gracie, his cousin. I beat Renzo Gracie, his cousin. I beat Royce Gracie, his brother. What are you gonna do? Nothing? Come on, man. Show up.
Wallid Ismail is one of the few who continued to be loyal to his teacher until Carlson Gracie's passing in 2006. Wallid used his stardom and resources to start Jungle Fight, arguably the most prestigious Latin America MMA promotion. Today, he is known as a manager of several world-renowned MMA fighters.
Don't forget to check out the new Brazilian Luta Livre t-shirt from Gotch Fightwear. The links are in the description or visit gotchfightwear.com.
This video was produced by Ditos and the World Submission Wrestling Federation. Join the World Submission Wrestling Federation. Visit our official website at submissionwrestlingarts.com.